What does it mean to forgive? Wow. So forgiveness is actually very important, not only for finding peace of mind, but for the spiritual seeker. Forgiveness is actually a spiritual practice. It's not just about making peace with other people or other groups. So what is forgiveness all about? Forgiveness is fairly confusing because sometimes people think somebody did something wrong, something terrible to me, and now you're asking me to forgive them. Well, I don't feel like forgiving them because I know they did this thing. Well, forgiveness is first of all not about condoning an action that was clearly wrong. It is in fact nothing to do with assessing or judging or even exonerating a person or situation or group. It is not about that at all. It's truly about, on my side of things, how do I want to relate to this? How do I want to interface with this? And so forgiveness is truly about acceptance, saying that whatever it is, it happened, I can see it, and I accept it. So that is a significant part of the forgiveness process. The second piece, which is also very important, is that when we understand the totality of the situation, because what happens is any situation, if you look at it, just looking at the specifics of what happened, there's an intense sense of this was wrong and this was right. And when we just look at it from that limited perspective, there's no space for anything deeper and bigger. When we step back and look at the big picture, firstly, what we see is that all the players are simply roles. These are not the ultimate truth of every person who was in that situation. In other words, here's a being, a little facet of their being is playing a certain role and acted a certain way. When we can see this stack, so to speak, meaning how they showed up as and who they truly are, then now we're opening up some space, and we're opening up the space to see something that is deeper and truer. And when we see something deeper and truer, that these are really beings who are much bigger, then we can say, well, I can see the act or whatever action was inappropriate by whoever, but I can also see that's not the complete story. This might seem like a simple thing, but it actually takes the situation from being locked in to opened up. And that's fundamental to what forgiveness truly is about. It's saying, let's look at the situation through the eyes of infinity. When we look at it through the eyes of infinity, we see that something is playing out. There's an appearance of something being played out, but there's a lot more, which is more fundamental and more true. So these ways of looking at it, so there's the right understanding opens the door for forgiveness, and then there is acceptance. And when we then step back and say, what else can I do to resolve the energies in this situation? What we could do is actually use energetic techniques to diffuse the unseen energies behind the situation. So the unseen energies are beyond what actually played out, and they are the energetic constructs which are kind of in a stuck mode, because everybody is feeling like in a place of either being, a victim of some kind or in some other role. So what we want to do is do energetic practices where we tap into the energy of the situation and release it into the light. So when we release trapped energies, what is sustaining that underlying feeling of discomfort is diffused. And all the players are now set free to move forward in whatever is best for them, in whatever way is best for them. So, a technique which I talk about in Just Be called soul harmonization is another one I would recommend. The technique of soul harmonization really goes to the heart of diffusing energies between you and some other being and restoring a state of pristineness, clarity, and cleanness to that energetic connection. So, this forgiveness is very important because without forgiveness, we are weighed down by the past. And when we're weighed down by the past, we have a hard time climbing up the ladder of higher states of consciousness. There's this thing pulling us down. So by doing forgiveness work, we are actually preparing ourselves to be so much more readier, lighter, cleaner, to rise up in consciousness, to expand further in consciousness, so that, of course, ultimately we can find the truths we're looking for as spiritual seekers. When you choose light, life becomes increasingly joyful, purposeful, and inspired. I invite you to join me to explore the realms of light, the infinite possibilities that light offers.